All right, I'm going to talk about networking, and really, despite what Jocke says, I'm a quite shy person. I'm not really comfortable in huge situations, especially when I hear networking. I think of this event where you throw together a random set of number of people, and they are supposed to talk to each other and exchange business cards and try to sell things to each other. And I really hate that. That's really, really creepy. So I'm going to talk about how you can get a team, how you can get investors, how you can get press and attention around your projects. Because even if you put up something on funded by me, you still need get people to go there, to give you money, to vote on you, right? So, who am I? I do a lot of different things right now, and this is my new project. And I'm going to talk a bit about these projects, and you can tweet me later there if you want to. Simple. So we're going to talk about the whys. Why do we want to network? Why do we want to meet a lot of people? And the first is, of course, you need a team. You need to find partners, you need to find people to work with. And I think one of the most common startup questions is, how do I find a technical co-founder? And by networking is one of the examples. And perhaps you are a technical person and you have all these requests of people wanting to work with you. Why should you network? Why should you get attention around your own person? Well, because you can't be alone. You can't build this startup yourself. And a technical person have much easier to find other technical persons to join their teams, rather than me, who is a business and marketing person. And if you can get somebody really famous, like the tech version of Jack White, to join this dead weather. Jack White is one of my rock heroes. For instance, like Andreas Ehn, who speaks later today. If you can get him to work with you, then you get a lot of attention around your startup, just because you managed to land this rock star icon developer. So the number two is that, this is a bit short. You need first clients. Hipster got 10,000 signups without even nobody knowing what they were doing. Just on attention alone. And how could they do that? Because they knew a lot of TechCrunch journalists. They knew bloggers. They knew people who talked with them, who talked about them. They knew the key persons to talk with. They knew Robert Scuba and all these Silicon Valley tech bloggers. And that is why you need to go out there long before you start even thinking of a launch, to get people to get a buzz around your startup, to get them to go to your launch page and write and submit their email address. So you get these first people signing up for your service, even though you just might only have a mock-up. But getting on TechCrunch don't mean they're actually going to pay you money, or that they will actually use your service. So if Hipster get 10,000 signups in 2 days, perhaps 5% of those, or 10% at the most, will actually use the service later, right? So if you are especially a consumer app or consumer service, you need a lot of early signups to create a volume for you to grow from. So money. We want investors, right? We want people, regardless if we use funded by me or if we go to a VC or an angel, we want somebody to invest in our company, to believe in us. And that has everything to do with the trust. You don't give a lot of money to a random person on the street, right? And the reason that friends and families and fools invest in you is because they know you. So you have to get to know the investors, or that they know of you long before you need the money. Starting to get investors or getting to be known by investors, you should do that at least 1.5 years before you even think of getting an investment or trying to get investments. So that's not something you just like, oh shit, I need money in a month, and then you start pitching. You can do that if you're really well known, if you're a trustworthy person who people already know. And finally, when you launch, Jack Dorsey, who was the Twitter founder, he used 99 characters to launch Square. They're a $1 billion company today, or at least in valuation. And this was picked up by media around the world. And how did that happen? Oops, sorry. Well, of course, he had a massive following because he was the Twitter founder and because he's a really, really smart guy. So building online a lot of followers is very, very useful when you start wanting to get people to do something for you, to sign up, to launch things, to get written about, to get buzz. And that is your personal accounts as well as your corporate accounts, but especially personal accounts. Most people think it's more fun to follow a person than your company account. So, how do we do this? Well, first of all, you gather your tribe. You start building your online following. You start getting them, giving them content that they are interested in. And a lot of companies and startups start tweeting and blogging about being a startup. And that's fine if you're targeting the startup market. But like my new company, we are going to work with TV and film. So we need to find that tribe, to find the people who are interested in TV and film production, not watching it, but producing it, to get this tribe. You get it? But don't promote yourself. This is the classic mistake most big companies do. They promote themselves. They have offers and they have competition, and it's they, them, us. Promote others. And this is a good friend of mine, Chris Brogan. He's a social media hero, very well known. And this is what he'd been doing all from day one, promoting others to a large extent. And I've taken his advice. So how do I do it? Well, I interview Daniel at my blog, which is called Swedish Startup Sessions, or I interview Dave McClure, who's a VC investor at 500 Startups from LeWeb. How do I go to LeWeb without paying 16,000 or 22,000 crowns for a ticket? Well, I gather my tribe and I get them to tweet, send Annika to LeWeb, to Loic de Meilleur, and after like 100 tweets, he was like, Annika, please stop, I can't take this anymore. So I got a ticket to LeWeb because I gathered my tribe. And also, you should watch the latest session at SwedishStartupSessions.com, because I just interviewed yesterday, actually, Ragnar Lönn from Load Impact, and he talks a lot about the importance of networking, which I didn't prompt him to do. He did this quite by himself. Another thing is to create events that people talk about and that are useful for other people, so are useful for people that you want to track. And this I've been doing for my other company called Disruptive Media. And I founded Stockholm Social Media Club, which has today sister clubs all over Sweden. And the latest event we had, I think, 95 people at lunch. And we have a lot of stuff on the internet as well, on YouTube. And it's also, you gather people who are getting interested in what you're doing. You show them that you can do a lot of nice things. Or you can go to a lot of geek meets and Stockholm Sweden Social Web Camp, coming to Startup Day, going to events, and get out to meet people. And also, we had a question earlier about, do I really need to talk about my project? Yes, you should pitch your project to anyone that will listen. And if you want to do a photo sharing app, I can guarantee you that if you copy Instagram code line by code line, you won't be able to rip off their business model. Because they know people you don't. And you know people who they don't. So you don't really, unless you have the ingredients for cold fusion, you don't really need to be worried about being copied. So out and pitch your product to anybody who wants to listen, because somebody out there will help you. Or saying, maybe, you should talk to this person I know. The startup kids talked about Alex's cool SoundCloud jacket earlier. And this is wear your brand, show who you are, show who you're working with. And I have a new t-shirt. It's not really done for scene, but you get people asking, what's that? So show your brand, show who you are, show why you should listen to me. And get out there. At LeWeb, which is Europe's biggest web meetup or web conference, there were one Nordic startup in the startup competition, and they were from Iceland. And I almost cried. One! And this is supposed to be like a region full of startups, and only one. And why do we are a small country here, and we need to get out to be seen outside the borders of Sweden. You can run around and socialize in Stockholm all you want, but we're still only 9 million people in Sweden, so you need to go out there and find new people to talk to. And startup competitions at LeWeb, at the launch conference, at TechCrunch Disrupt are great. You need to be there. You need to pitch. And I found this, to do that, you also have to think outside the box. You have to do something that really stands out. And I found a really cool guy at LeWeb 2 years ago. This guy, Danil, he's from Siberia. A very, very remote, small town in Siberia. And he didn't have any money. So he emailed Luc de Meyer, who's the organizer of LeWeb, and said, "Hello, I'm Danil. I'm very poor. I'm from Siberia. Please, can't I get a ticket to the LeWeb?" And Luc, he thought, this is so crazy. This kid from Siberia, like, of course you get a ticket. So what did he do? Did he just go there quietly? No. He went around with this T-shirt, hard working prototype looking for VC. And he took every opportunity to be on the Q&A sessions from the big stage, which they were filmed. And not only were they displayed on the huge screens in the conference hall, but it was also broadcast on Ustream. So what happened? TechCrunch Disrupt. And now he has his money, he has his company, and it worked because he was brave. He was out there. He dared to go be not aggressive, but be out there and saying, "This is what I want." And we need more companies doing this. And actually, SoundCloud is, as far as I know, the only Swedish company that's been to TechCrunch Disrupt or Launch Conference. So don't be scared going out there, because what the American investors are flocking to Stockholm says is that the quality of Swedish startups is very, very high. So don't be shy. Go out there, because Sweden is too small. And another interesting thing, talking about LeWeb, is that the Israeli company Waze, because the Israelis are really aggressive when it comes to going international, going to international conferences and meeting VCs, meeting bloggers, meeting journalists, and so on. They got $20 million in funding the first day they were at LeWeb. the first day of pitching. They haven't even been in the final yet, and they got $20 million in funding. So, you also have to do something different apart from the networking part. You have to find some way of making a splash. You have to find some way to grab attention, to market your company in ways that can scale. Because going to being social in social events, that has a limited, I mean, you can't be everywhere. It's expensive, even if you have to get a free ticket to Le Web. It's expensive to go there, even if you can stay with a friend for free. So you have to scale this presence on the web. And you can do that through a lot of tweeting and blogging, but you can also use video, for instance. And I want to show you a budget movie that got 500,000 views on YouTube in 1 week. So this is how you can cheaply market your company.
Yeah! Now I'm in the blogosphere, now I'm in the Twitterverse. Fans get so immersed, but I'm a nerd forever. I'm the new Zuckerberg, and since my website, I've been cooking dough like a chef serving kilobytes. Used to be the basement, back at my mom's place. Building web traffic so that we could sell an ad space. Make way for the one-man businesses. Bailouts finish with white-collar criminals. New Sega Genesis, entrepreneur. Time making big plans to dominate the online. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. This is one man sharing Google revenue with songs on my webcam. Science is the new art, databases day-to-day. Geeks spreading sheet smarts, hustle make the data pay. I could be in Valleywag plus geekology. Tell from my avatar that I'm most definitely new. Social networks, what dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're a new day. This VC money is brand new. The geek is now damn cool. Let's hear it for new days. Catch me up in TechCrunch, right on the homepage. Hell, I'm on Gizmodo in a photo about a phone craze. And I'm up in Mashable. Weekend trip to New York, Bar Pity, One Oak, parties full of new doors. Now I'm pitching business plans from the backs of napkins. Microlend to Africans, monetize Kazakhstan. Catch me up on LinkedIn, dog. CEO, you can see where I be with the IPO. Now I'm up in skinny jeans, now a hipster's lurking. Used to be a reject, but now I'm steady jerking. Now my glass is mainstream, now the girlies eyeing me. Popular kids copy me, the new swag is irony. Coming from the small time, girls couldn't find me. Now I scale models like I climb on top of Heidi. Starting big trends with the tweets that I pass on. You should follow me, cause I'm friends with Ass Tom. That's right. Social networks, what dreams are made of. There's nothing we can't do. Now you're a new day. Welcome to the future. This VC money is brand new. The geek is now damn cool. Let's hear it for new days. This one goes out to all my people starting businesses, doing what you love.
Please come network with me. And especially check out Swedish Startup Sessions. And if you want me to cover your startup, please let me know. There's a lot of good material there. And I would say that I've been networking since 2005, and that given me quite good contacts in the American VC industry and among American bloggers. And you really need that if you're going to come from a small company, a small country, and be able to reach out of Sweden, unless you have the money to go live in Silicon Valley. Because we do have a handicap in Europe, and that is that we don't have the media coverage that Silicon Valley companies have. We don't have the big VC deals that just themselves gather a lot of interest from the press. And when you get covered by TechCrunch, you get a lot of attention and sign-ups and users and so on. So we have to work a bit harder, but we can do that, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Annika. Daniel.